Hey everybody, we're here for a new episode of Five for Talking. I'm here with Caps, the muscles in the sauce, the boss, and we're gonna recap the last round really quick because we're going into the finals here. Tampa Bay versus Colorado, and we'll just get right into this. So we'll start off with some news here quickly, just to get that out of the way. So Ryan Miller's jersey is going to be retired this year by the Buffalo Sabres, and I mean good for him. He had a good career. He kind of played a little bit too long when he wasn't so great anymore, but in his prime, he was one of the best goalies.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, he's probably one of the best American-born goalies of all time. Played 11 years in Buffalo.
Overall, I mean, 391 wins. He probably would have gone 400 if he didn't play so minimal in Anaheim. But I mean, I thought probably one of the best goalies behind. Anyway, I shouldn't.
Luongo?
There's a guy named starts with a B on the backup, because they were going like hand in hand. They were like 1A, 1B for a short period of time before Miller take over the reins for Buffalo. But anyway, he became an analyst afterwards too. Yeah, he was a fantastic goalie. Played on a great Buffalo Sabres team with Briere.
Yeah. 284 wins as a Sabre. They're going to retire his jersey. Good for him. Congratulations. In other news, we have. I just brain farted. Sorry. The Ben Bishop contract has been traded from Dallas to Buffalo in order for Buffalo to hit the cap floor. So that's news. Irrelevant news, but it's news. So that happened. Then Bruce Cassidy.
I don't get that move though. Why doesn't Dallas keep it and use it for cap relief?
I never thought of that. That's actually
I didn't understand that. When they made that move, I didn't understand it. Like, why don't you just, if he's going to retire, or if he's can't play because of a knee issue, why doesn't Dallas just put him on the long-term injury reserve and then use that as cap relief to go ahead and sign somebody else? I didn't understand that move. But
because you only have a certain amount of spots you can use, right? What if something happens in the season and you have Ben Bishop taking up a spot and he's not even playing?
I understand, but I'm just saying, like, they could have just used that to go get somebody else.
I didn't even think from your perspective of what you said.
It just came to me now, to be honest.
That's not a bad that. Yeah, that makes sense. But maybe Buffalo made them an offer they couldn't refuse because they want to hit the cap floor so bad that they were willing to take on the contract, right?
So okay, Marlon Brando.
Thank you. Okay, so Bruce Cassidy firing. I want to talk about that for a second. He states that in his exit interview at the end of the season, they promised him his job was safe and he was coming back next year. And then a couple days later, they fired him.
So at first I didn't understand it. I thought he did the best he could with a team that's going through some changes, a team that's going to have to rebuild at some point because there's going to be a couple guys going out. But when I looked into it, it looked as though that there were some issues and some players were not happy or whatever. So it looked like he went to the GM and the GM said he was going to stay, but then those same players went to the Cam Neely, and Cam Neely heard what they had to say and made the actual switch, made the change. So I don't know. I mean, kind of gives the players all this power, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, what are they going to do?
But in fairness to that side, which I'm also in agreement with what you're saying. But what if it was like Marchand and Bergeron that complained, right? You're not going to be like, okay, that's your core. You're going to be like, all right, get rid of this guy.
Yeah, but how long are those guys going to be there for? I mean, the fact of the matter is they went.
But was he that good of a coach that you would be willing to ditch your core of your team for that?
good enough to get rehired by the Vegas Golden Knights in a short period of time.
Well, let's be honest. DeBoer was not a good coach in that situation.
Mhm.
I think, and a lot of outlets said the same thing. That's not just on me. He did not fit there. A lot of people complained about him as well. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe it's going to be good for Vegas. Who knows? All right.
Who knows?
We'll see how that goes. Okay. Let's get into playoffs. So we know we didn't do an episode last week, but we know Colorado beat the Edmonton Oilers. And in my opinion, I don't even think that series was remotely close.
Yeah, you're pretty right.
So in going along with that, Lehkonen scored the winning goal in overtime to get his team to the finals, which is funny because last year he scored the winning goal in overtime to get the Montreal Canadiens to the finals. So that he's the first player to ever do that. So congratulations to him. So Colorado's in. We knew Colorado was going to be in. I don't think that was a big
Just a matter of time.
shocker. I'm sure that we all thought, I don't remember what my prediction was, but I definitely thought it would be close in the Rangers and Lightning series. It's hard to count out the Lightning ever, but I watched either 4 or 5 of the 6 games, and New York was definitely the better team throughout the entire series. But Colorado, Tampa Bay just somehow always manages to score that goal right at the end of the game. Always. It's like when they pull their goalie, they're gonna score.
You're on a roll.
I'm on a roll.
There's nothing I can add to it other than the fact that they find a way to win. I mean, there were 2 playoff series. There were 2 playoff series where they were not the better team.
That's true.
And the only time that they were a better team is when they were up against Florida,
who should have been the better team, but
should have been the better team. But the fact of the matter is that Tampa has the experience and knows what it takes to win, and it doesn't matter if they have home ice advantage or not. They get the job done, and they figured it out. And yeah, I mean, there's Colorado's starting to figure it out.
Colorado looked really good against Edmonton. So, I mean, good for them on that. So as far as I know, I just checked out some news tidbits here for Colorado. And apparently there's a chance that Kadri and Cogliano can be back before maybe even by game 2, maybe before by game 3. But they will definitely not be 100%.
Okay.
If you're Colorado, do you play them still?
Yes.
Okay.
Because when it comes to the playoffs, those players are going to want to play. That's the bottom line. They're doing what it takes. They're doing what's best for the team. We've seen time and time again, whether it's this sport or another sport, when it comes to the playoffs, you got players not playing at 100%.
This is the finals too. This is not like the first round.
It's only 7 games. That's it. If it does go to 7 games, you only have to play 7 more games. All right. So in Tampa's situation, Brendan Point's very likely coming back, and he hasn't played since Game 7 of the Leafs versus Tampa Bay Lightning. So he's looking to come back. So do they want to play? Should they play? Hell yeah. This is the finals, man. This is no joke. This is
can't hold back
not
now.
Game 82 of a regular season. It's go time.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
I think that's a good take. My only reasoning for not playing them is that if they're not effective, you took out 2 healthy players to put in 2 people who don't help you. But I still think that I agree with your point that it's the finals and you can't hold back now.
Yeah, or else you're going to be faced with that question, what if?
Yeah, well, we don't even know if they're going to play for sure.
Yeah.
There's just speculation that they could be back, which is weird because Kadri was supposedly out for sure. 100% he was not coming back for the rest of the playoffs a week ago. So that's good, I guess. So I have this article here. Well, do you want to talk about our prediction for this before we go into this?
My prediction has not changed since the beginning of the playoffs, and that was Colorado versus the winner of Toronto versus Tampa, and the Colorado is going to win.
Yeah,
so that's my.
I believe from the beginning, mine was Colorado and Florida, and I still sticking with it. Colorado is going to win. So there's this article on The Score, which is a Canadian sports app, a la ESPN. So 7 Lightning Avalanche questions that will decide who wins the cup. All right. So the question number 1 is, will the goalie battle be close?
No.
I agree.
Hell no.
Okay, but should the defense show up, I think that the goaltending on Colorado was good enough that because Francois, or I think that's his name. Sorry, I'm very bad with names.
It's a 50-50.
He's been really good.
Temper.
Yeah. Francois is going to start. They're going to ride the hot hand. He's been playing really well. He's been playing a lot better than Kemper did for the playoffs so far. But I mean, at this point, he's not even human.
He's in God mode.
Now that they made the playoffs, I'm already willing to say he's in the argument for greatest goalie of all time. If they win the cup, I would 100% cement that in there. But
I would wait until he retires.
Yeah, I don't even need to. He's done enough. But
so then, would you consider Billy Smith to be the best goalie of all time since he won 4 cups in a row?
No, but Billy Smith was not even remotely as good of a goalie as Vasilevsky is.
Okay.
Vasilevsky's numbers speak for themselves. His raw talent is insane. And like, given age and time and whatever could happen, I don't think he's ever going to finish in the highest for wins. So you're never going to be able to make those kind of arguments for him.
Vasilevsky?
Yeah.
Yeah, he started pretty late.
That's what I mean. He's never going to be like a 500 win guy, so you're never going to have that argument. Well, look how many wins he has. It's going to be based off like
possible.
I mean, who knows?
He's
yeah,
7?
Yeah, but I mean, it's a long road to ride, man.
Yeah, he's got another 13 years to go if he can stay healthy.
This team is getting close to a rebuild. They're gonna run out of cap soon.
Yeah, but it's so funny because Stamkos, they thought Stamkos was done. And all of a sudden, this guy has a year that he had this year.
Yeah, I mean, but in fairness to all the people who thought he was done, I don't blame you. He didn't look like he was going to be able to go.
So funny, even if a couple players are gone, they still have enough depth to like friggin', play.
It's
anyway.
So the next question is, and this is considering how good they've been this whole season, and considering how Tampa Bay's defense has been playing. Do you think Colorado's offense will remain as potent as it has been?
Yeah. And I say that Tampa's offense will remain. It's going to be a battle and a half. I'm telling you, this is like Tampa versus Toronto 2.0.
Colorado's probably better than the Leafs.
Exactly, because I would argue that too, because like their offense are pretty much the same. They both have enough depth and weapons in their arsenal to do some serious damage.
I'm going to agree.
The only thing that's going to be their the only thing that's going to like pretty much say who's going to win is Vasilevsky. That's pretty much going to give him the edge, in my opinion.
I think
I can't search for the words. It's late at night.
No, I got you. And I think that in this whole playoffs, like absolutely no disrespect to Austin Matthews, but the Tampa Bay has not come up against a player like McKinnon yet. There's only one other player like McKinnon, and his name is Connor McDavid, and they both happen to be in the Western Conference.
Yeah, but then you can argue that they were up against Huberdeau and Barkov.
Not the same.
And I mean,
you can't compare Huberdeau to Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon.
Why? Huberdeau was got 150.
Yeah, and Nathan McKinnon would have had way more than that if he stayed healthy.
I guess. I guess.
Just like there's a special class in the NHL that only has 2 players in it, in my opinion, and it's McKinnon and McDavid.
Yeah.
Okay, so who wins the showdown? Chiarelli or McKinnon? Chiarelli's been a lockdown guy for this whole playoffs. I think. Well, my opinion on this, I think we have to see. I don't think we can speculate this.
They can't. That's. I'm going to give it to McKinnon, man.
That's a
This
weird
is
question to ask
this
in this. So
it's weird. It's I don't I what makes you think that they'll put him against
because they've been doing that
McKinnon?
against all the other teams so far. They've been
Yeah.
playing him against the big line. But hey, I think that's a question that shouldn't even be on here, if I'm being honest with you. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. Which number one defenseman is going to shine brighter, Victor Hedman or Cale Makar?
That's a harder question.
Makar has arguably had one of the best playoffs ever for a defenseman in NHL history.
Yeah, but then you can also say Hedman knows what needs to be done in order to win.
Hedman should be the captain of this team.
Yeah, I can't argue that, man. But then who cares? Because they're winning.
Yeah, they're winning.
Like,
I know.
You know what I mean?
It's a pointless argument. That's a crazy one. I'm gonna say if Makar keeps putting up points the way he is, I think that's gonna be the difference maker in the series.
You still got Vasilevsky, who just he's in God mode. Like I've never seen anything like this. Like he's in God mode.
But he's been doing this for 4 straight years.
Like when the Rangers went up 2-0, I kept saying it. I kept saying, like, that's it. Once Tampa wakes up, the Rangers are not going to win anymore. And not only did they wake up, they pretty much just swept them.
I mean,
like
if you watch the games though, Tampa Bay did not play well. It was
right.
just Vasilevsky stood on his head and saved. I know,
exactly,
and I'm gonna agree with you on that point. That I think it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next question here.
Yep.
Who's going to make a bigger impact on when they make the comeback, Point or Kadri? I'm going to go first, okay? I think Point is the far better player, and he can have an impact, but he hasn't played in so long that Kadri might have the edge a bit there. And Kadri also has had a career season where he's played like a completely different player. We've never seen Kadri play this way before. So to me, I'm gonna say Kadri, but I think Point is the better player.
I'm gonna give it to Point because it's from what I see right now. Kadri is more hurt.
Ooh, that's a good point.
More limited in what he can do.
You know what? You're right.
I'm giving it to Point.
You're right.
If they were healthy, I'd probably side with you.
No, you're right. I changed my answer. I didn't even think of that. You're completely right. Because Point is coming off the injury. Kadri's still injured. Do you think there will be an officiating controversy at some point? I mean, so far for me, there's only been one moment in the whole playoffs, and it was that stupid offside.
I'm going to say no because there's no more Canadian teams left.
Fair. The Leafs are out, so that's it.
The Oilers are out. The Flames are out. The Leafs are out.
All right, so that's all I had from that. Anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question anyways to end this.
Right.
And I know this is completely irrelevant, but I just wondering, in terms of matchups, do you think Calgary would have been had a better chance against Colorado than Edmonton did?
Am I giving you the same answer I gave you?
Go ahead.
Off camera. They couldn't get through the Oilers.
But do you think that it makes any difference at all? Because Edmonton got absolutely smoked by Colorado.
No, because when I look at it, Colorado is Edmonton 3.0.
I like how Colorado's always a 0.0 better than somebody. They're the Leafs 2.0 and they're Edmonton 3.0. You heard it here first.
Colorado, just like Edmonton, has a goalie that's off and on, but their offense is incredibly insane, and Colorado's got better defense than New Oilers.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, that's all I have. Do you have anything? No, you don't. You already said no. Guys, we're going to the Hockey Hall of Fame on Friday, so maybe you'll get some footage from that. Anyways, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and tell Nick if you want his shirt or not.